Today, we're talking with CherryTree CEO Martin about all the exciting products the company has produced, as well as teasers of what is coming next. Given that Star Trek is celebrating its 60th anniversary this year, there are a ton of exciting new items coming down the line. Now, if you want to get your hands on some of these CherryTree items, like the Klingon keyboard, Star Trek mousepads, or even the Spaceport mug, you can find links below. If you're in the UK or EU, head over to the cargo bay, but if you're in the US, go straight to CherryTree's own website. Oh, if you like keyboards, then keep watching. A new work-in-progress product is shown in this video. Cool. Well, Martin, we're going to go back to the start of this interview.
Yes.
Let's talk about CherryTree celebrating its 10th anniversary this year. But first, I want to recap for those who may not know and sort of new to CherryTree and new to Trek Central. Where did this begin? We got to talk about the Borg PC, but before that, where did CherryTree begin?
CherryTree, the idea came up in 2016, and I was basically watching on First Contact Day. So this is why this year is so special for us, because it's not only the 10-year anniversary of the company, it's also 30-year of First Contact, 60-year of Star Trek, and I think it's also, isn't it 45 years? No, 40 years of a Star Trek movie, of another one.
Maybe. I know it's something to do with Enterprise.
So there are a lot of anniversaries today. But anyway, in 2016, I was watching on First Contact Day, Star Trek First Contact, because it's definitely my favorite Star Trek movie. And when this Borg cube kept flying through the screen, my first thought, for some weird reason, was, I wonder if anybody ever put a computer in that thing. And I started Googling this, and turns out nobody ever done this on a commercial basis. The only people that ever did this were home builders. And yeah, we started basically coming up with the idea how to make this, and yeah.
That's fantastic. And of course, since then, the Borg PC has expanded. We now have recently, was it the Borg NAS drive I've seen on CherryTree socials?
Yes.
How did that sort of come about?
So the one thing that we are trying to do, because we're a small company, we're not a big conglomerate with a gigantic backing. So the one thing that we always tried was to make as many products with one tool. So when you do certain things, like let's take the Borg cubes, for example. Let me grab something real quick, Jack.
Oh.
Our Borg cubes, they're all injection molded, because at the beginning when we came out with this, there were people like, oh, I have a 3D printer. Yeah, good for you, but with a 3D printer, you cannot punch out thousands of panels. You know what I mean? You can make a couple, maybe a couple of hundred. The thing is, the big car cubes, for example, they consist out of 16 panels, 4 on each side. And for injection molding, you needed what's called a tool or a mold. It's basically a 2-part aluminum block where little plastic pellets get injected with high heat, and they basically melt into the form. They're pushed in via high pressure, and then the mold splits and the part falls out. And one of these panels looks like this. And this here is the panel that we use for the Borg lamps. We use basically 5 of these, and still the same panel, still the same tooling, but a different material. This is what the Picard cubes are made out of. And we have them in different colors. We made them in red. These just come out for our 10th anniversary. Well, they're actually not out yet, but then for our Snow Whites, we make them in white.
Nice.
And these are basically for the 3rd anniversary edition. And when you have 4 of these, they're being welded together like this.
Nice.
And oopsie, yeah, like this, and then 4 on the bottom. And the cutouts for the Picard cube, for the force fields, we make ourselves here. So what we try to do is, because these molds are actually relatively expensive, and we're trying to make as many products we can out of one tool. So from these panels, we make the Borg cube lamps, We make the new Borg microcubes, which are our small ITX machines. We make the regular Borg cubes. We make the Picard cubes, all models of the Picard cubes, which includes first anniversary editions, a third anniversary edition, the Snow Whites, the regular Picard cube, the Artifact. All of these come basically from the same tooling. And the NAS came up. So the NAS that we have now, it's not brand new. It's just that we make a large NAS with big drives. That is new. And the idea for the NAS, we used to sell small NASs. They are basically out of one panel. So they're that size cube.
Okay.
And they have up to 12 2.5-inch drives in there. We stopped making them because the manufacturing was incredibly difficult and a gigantic pain. And they were, frankly, not worth it.
That's
People loved them, but they required us to make a custom wire harness on back of the drive base. It took way too long to build them, and it wasn't simply worth it for us. The big ones assemble very fast. They are absolutely worth making. And the reason why we came up with a NAS was we wanted to make a product that not only PC people can use. So the problem is all our cases are tailored towards PC people. And let's face it, there are a lot of people that buy computers from the other fruit company, and in order for them to basically being able to use our products, we came up with the NAS.
Nice.
And yeah, that's the story of the NAS.
It looks really impressive. I've got like just a simple Synology NAS drive in my office. I keep looking at thinking a Borg cube would really look a lot better there. So one day.
Check something, yeah.
Let's move on from PCs and such. I want to ask about one of the most recent products CherryTree has announced, this being the Defiant USB stick, and I believe you might have it there to show us.
Yeah, I have a Defiant USB stick right here.
Very nice. So how did these sort of come about? I mean, obviously it's a USB stick, but you know, what's the origin behind these ones?
That's actually a very good question. I do not remember. I might have to come up with something.
With the product in general, though, we can find us on CherryTree's website right now, I believe.
I honestly, I really cannot remember how we came up with these, because the thing is, so one of the things we're trying to do now is the majority. So when we started with all of this, our product started off rather expensive. Our computer cases are, considering that they are just computer cases, they are expensive. Our machines, because what we are building, they are expensive. So over the last few years, we tried to come up with stuff that can be used across all platforms, all operating systems, and also are more affordable. And we started off with the keyboards, then with the mice, that USB stick. So I remember one thing, I had the idea for making ship-themed USB sticks a little bit over a year ago, and there was still somebody involved with the company who, back then when I asked him, hey, what do you think about it? The person said, no, we tried USB sticks in the past and they don't work, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, that sounds like that. I don't think that's true. I don't think that's true, because he used to work for a different company that does memorabilia stuff. And then someday that idea popped back up into my mind, and I was like, you know what? I have a manufacturer for these kind of things. Why don't I ask them what they think? Yeah. And my first thought was the Defiant. The original idea for the Defiant USB stick was actually that you remove the front and you can plug it in like this. The problem is when you look how big the USB plug is, this wouldn't fit. So the next idea was, why don't we do this USB-C? And the problem is this also doesn't work because the way the PCB, the little circuit board for the USB chip, is actually laid out. And because the Defiant is round here, it doesn't fit. We don't have, you see how thin she is here?
Yeah.
We don't have room for this. We don't have room for this. This one, however, the original design I got back from the manufacturer had a split in half.
Okay.
But I told them, look, this looks like garbage. We cannot do this. So we moved it back as far as we could.
Yeah.
And when you plug it in the computer, it actually looks like this, which is still cool.
Yeah.
And we're currently working on a few other ones.
Nice.
Voyager is most likely gonna be the next one.
We seem to be in sync today. I was thinking of that as well. I was like, because I could see it being the front of Voyager, and because it's got the shape in it a little bit. I feel like the aft section would be difficult because you got the nacelles, and now I'm trying to think of other ships as well. But I don't know. I feel like I was like, Enterprise D would be too difficult because it's bulky, but yeah.
The E might actually work. The E might work, but I'm concerned about the nacelles.
Yeah, they're quite spindly.
These are actually made from flexible PVC.
Nice.
So these are made that they don't break, and you can put them in your pocket, or these are actually cool. I'm actually also thinking that the next ones maybe have even a hole in there that you can have them on the keychain.
Yeah, I was literally just thinking about ship key rings. So
yeah,
that's amazing. So these are available on CherryTree's site right now. Fantastic. And how much do they store at the minute?
$19.99 or $19.95.
Nice. And what's the storage capacity? Sorry, I've
sorry. There's 16 gigabytes.
Perfect. Yeah. So I feel it's great if you want to do small work or transfer. I know I always need a USB around the office when I'm updating a PC or something like that, and it's always helpful to have one.
The problem with this is also this falls under the same category as RAM and NVMe drives at the moment. These things. The chips are incredibly expensive. A year ago, 1.5 years ago, I might have been able to make this for half the price.
It's crazy the way it's changed.
And yeah, we actually asked them, so what about 32 gigs or 64 gigs? Prices are outrageous. It's at the moment, it's so stupid. It's so stupid. And the thing is, when we price things like this, of course, we have to charge a premium because certain percentage of this goes back to Paramount. Also, don't forget, we have to develop these, we have to design these, we have to come up with this. Next thing is we have to, when we get packaged, when you get an order in, we have to package them because these are actually free shipping. Okay. The items like this, they are always free shipping with us. But down the line, it's still a 16 gigabyte USB stick. And you cannot charge over $20 for a 16 gigabyte USB stick. This doesn't work.
Well, hopefully people can go and get the Defiant USBs. I can't wait to see people using them as well, and maybe we'll see some out in the wild, which would be quite fun.
I had the idea for this thermal paste, for the Star Trek themed thermal paste, when we started pitching to Paramount the AIOs, the water coolers, the Star Trek themed water coolers, and I wrote this elaborate email explaining to them what an AIO is and what you need it for and why people love it and so on. And the same goes for the thermal paste. And I put this all in one email basically. And I have a brand new rep at Paramount, and he replied, "Let me stop you right there. I actually love building PCs, and I know exactly what you're talking about. So please keep doing it." Yeah, and that was one thing where I was like, finally, I have something that understands what we are doing. Because it was one of those ideas. When people buy a case from us, that's actually our plan for the next 2 years, that we come out with Star Trek themed components for computers. So we start off with Star Trek themed AIOs. And I hope that the damn RAM crisis is
gonna be about to say what I was about to say, but do go on. I think
so the one thing that I'm thinking is isolinear chips. Yes. That we make memory modules that look like isolinear chips, but the problem at the moment is simply RAM prices are through the roof, and I heard it's not supposed to be better till next year. But that's one thing that we want to do. And my thought was, when people buy a Star Trek themed case from us, they also can buy Star Trek themed components. And we also thought about the thermal paste. That's more of a gag item, but it's O'Brien's special thermal compound. So that's the only way to keep your PC cool.
Now we just need Comini doing like, the ad for that as well. So, I love the isolinear chip idea. As soon as you started saying components, my mind immediately went there. And I don't know how
Yeah.
expensive it is, but I've got like NVMe drives in my PC just slotting under the board and such. I was like, I wonder if you could make isolinear chips like that as well for NVMe, because it's a similar shape.
Problem is NVMe's now got so fast, which means they got hotter, that they need a heatsink on top. And this is most NVMe drives sit in a slot where actually the main board heatsink is on it. So it's a little bit tricky. Yeah.
But of course, it's not just Borg PCs, Defiant USB sticks. You've also got the other Star Trek inspired geek machines, and we spoke a bit about the AIO callers as well.
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell us more about those designs, how this came about, and I guess why?
The geek machines. So we came up with the geek machine because we wanted to make a computer case that's that appeals to maybe more people than the Borg cube, and is also more affordable because the Borg cubes, as I mentioned earlier, they are pricey. The Borg cubes are also, not everybody that loves Star Trek necessarily loves the Borg. They are clunky. You need a lot of desk space for these, and they simply don't appeal to everybody. Yeah, they're gorgeous, gorgeous cases, and I love how they look like. But again, they don't appeal to everybody. And that was the reason why we said we need a computer case that is easily modifiable, that we can use for our needs, and that appeals to a lot of people, and that doesn't take so much desk space. And we picked this one because it has a kind of timeless design, and we use actually the same basic structure of these cases for a lot of cases. We're basically getting the bare bones of the case from overseas and modify them here. And we use them for our Star Trek cases, for our Star Wars cases. We made several prototypes with them. We made our Back to the Future case that Christopher Lloyd signed. But that was the only thing we used there is basically the basic frame, because for that case, we also had a stainless steel body made and so on. That's an insane modification.
Of course, you've got the warp core coolers as well.
Yes.
What have those been like? Is that a tricky sort of thing to develop, or is that, easy is the wrong word, but you know what I mean? Has it been quite a challenge to make something like that?
So yes and no. The challenging part, what we like to do is we like to utilize with these kind of things parts that are actually readily available and off the shelf, and we basically modify them in-house. The challenging part is when, for example, a manufacturer decides that one of their products becomes end of life, and now we have the warp core shells basically for a pump reservoir that's not longer available. But there are always workarounds because we work with different companies and they make different pumps. That's why I have this one here, for example. That's one of the cylinders where the warp core goes over.
Nice.
And yeah. That was an idea. I always wanted to make a warp core themed PC when we started with this. And with a lot of our products, we had to grow into them. We had to, because as I said, because we're so small, it's not like that we have an idea for a product and all of a sudden we're like, okay, let's tap in our endless development fund and start making things like this. No, it's we need to be very careful what products we make, when we make them, and how we make them, because again, basically a small business that tries to do their thing, and it's mostly like that we make a product, we see the product does good, so we use that money for developing the next product, and that goes on and on and on. The moment the product does good, it funds the next one or two products. This is a healthy way of growing.
I guess I've got to ask on this, and hopefully this isn't sort of like a rude question, but has it ever been a case where like some products you've put out and they've not done sort of well? I guess it does happen.
Yeah, yeah,
Is
yeah.
it just
It
a case
happens.
of like having to navigate it?
It happens. It's for example the keycaps, the lower decks keycaps. Don't really know why. I think it's more like a marketing issue that we have with these, because I still think they're super pretty. I think they're super cool, but we make quite a few products that I like to say they're a niche within a niche within a niche. When you think about certain things, so for the lower decks keycaps, you need to have somebody who's, point one, a Star Trek fan. Then out of being a Star Trek fan, you need to have somebody who's a lower decks fan. Then on top of that, we have only 4 characters. We have the 4 main characters, but you need to have somebody who likes either one or all of these 4 main characters. So now you have basically that you have narrowed that customer base down to the people that like the show. Out of all these people that like lower decks and these 4 characters, now you need to find people that have a computer at home. Out of all of these people, yeah, I'm shrinking down, I'm shrinking down, I'm shrinking down. The majority of people that have mechanical keyboards where these keycaps go on are gamers. Yeah, so you go basically smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller, and that's the thing. It was a fun. It didn't. That was a project. It didn't cost that much. The development was a little bit pricey because the development was tedious on those keycaps.
Yeah.
Because we were one of the first ones, if not the first ones, that made. I think we were actually the first company that made a physical product with lower decks.
Nice.
Because when we had the idea for the keycaps, there were no figurines out. There was nothing out for lower decks. And we had absolutely nothing to base the 3D models on. And that was a little bit a tough process. But Paramount helped us a lot with these, because during the design process, we went back and forth with them, and they actually told us how to model them and how to sculpt them properly, and they turned out really, really nice. They turned out really nice.
And can people still get these today if they're interested?
Yeah, they're still on our website.
Fantastic.
We still have them.
Well, speaking about accessories and such, of course, CherryTree doesn't just do PCs, there's also accessories. We've got the iconic Klingon keyboard. How did this one sort of come about? We spoke about it a little before. I wonder if we can just quickly recap why a Klingon keyboard.
I'm not taking credit for that. I'm not taking credit for it, because it wasn't my idea.
That's fair.
The Klingon keyboard was actually Barry Eldridge's idea from Factory Entertainment.
Nice. Okay.
And he and I were talking at the Star Trek convention, not the one in Las Vegas, the one in San Francisco. And he looked at our next generation keyboard, and he said, "You know what you have to do? You need to make a Klingon keyboard." And I'm like, who's gonna buy that? I mean, the problem is we have products where I only need to buy a certain amount, a small amount, and then there are products when we get them completely modified like this overseas, where I have them actually manufactured for us. I need to buy super big quantities, and this was one thing where I was really hesitant, and he told me, "No, believe me, they're gonna sell. You have to make this." Yeah, so I dragged the development of that thing out a year, because I was like, okay, I can fund the development, but I have to upfront a chunk of money to basically buy them, and then I have the inventory lying around. So we started making them, and Barry got me in touch with the people from the Klingon Language Institute, and that was one of the most hilarious product developments I've ever had, because I was in an email chain with them, and you basically had a bunch of grown men start to arguing what word in Klingon fits better on the keyboard, because the way the Klingon keyboard works is On the keyboard, you have a lot of, not only letters on it, you have a lot of words like shift and caps lock and tab and escape and home, insert, delete, and whatnot. All the Klingon phrases on there have basically a meaning that relates to home, or I think the tab is actually forward in Klingon.
I've got mine right here. I can't read Klingon, but I guess now when you're talking about it, I can see what you mean. So
yeah, and there's another fun story about that keyboard. When you look at the picture on the package, you can actually see that the keyboard has Star Trek written on it.
I can see that. Yep.
Yeah, the keyboard inside does not have Star Trek on it.
I see.
Because the picture on there is the prototype, and when we submitted that to Paramount, they looked at it, and it's very rare that they do that, but they said, you still have Star Trek on the back on the sticker, right? And I'm like, yeah, we do. And then they said, lose the Star Trek on the front. And I'm like, why? And they were like, because it's the only English word on the keyboard, and it completely messes everything up. Just lose the Star Trek. And it looks way better. It was a really good choice.
I've just realized as well the like the symbols on the keys of the knives, war fuses.
Yes.
Is it the,
yes.
I'm gonna try and nerd it. Is it the duck targ knife? I think I want to say it's called that, but I can't remember. Speaking of keyboards, I believe CherryTree has recently teased a new sort of keyboard coming soon. I was wondering if you might be able to show it to us. Very nice. That looks awesome.
We have two prototypes of these. We have a white one, and we had a white one and this black one. The white one went to Paramount Games, and the black one is still here. And this one is currently in the approval process. The original one, it's going to have a little bit different fonts on there. I don't like the fonts, and I'm going about what we are writing on, because all our keyboards, they have some fun stuff on the shift, on the space bar, and the enter key might be different. So there might be a few changes, but we first had to settle on the color scheme, that it's LCARS. And the way we did this, so the most important part when you design something like this, it also needs to make sense. Yeah, because when you look at an LCARS, I don't have the mouse pad here, for example, but when you look at the LCARS, it has certain shapes on there. Yeah, with a keyboard, we first try to mimic basically how it looks on the mouse pad, but that didn't really make sense. So what we did here, we broke the colors off. When you look that the numbers are in one color, then function keys that have basically not the F keys, but I don't know how you could tell that, how you could say that, but it's basically that keys that serve a certain function are in one color. The same goes for these here.
Like grouping it in certain ways.
Yeah, and the function keys themselves are in a different color. So when you look at the keyboard, and the letters are also a different color. So this makes color-wise sense, and that's
awesome.
Yeah, and it's also going to be our first mechanical keyboard.
Oh, awesome! Even better.
Be available. So this is going to be the reason why we didn't do these. Is again, high order quantity on an expensive keyboard. It can be really messy, but we found a way to actually do this partially overseas, partially in-house, which lowers our minimum order quantity. So yeah.
You said it's in an approval stage. So out of interest, I'm not sure if we can talk about this, but if not, we'll cut it. How long does it take? Are we looking like this year maybe, or next year?
No, this year. This year. I want to have this ready by the Star Trek convention in Las Vegas.
Fantastic. Well, hopefully we can see one in the UK as well, because I want one now. So
the problem is with shipping these overseas. So the way we do these, I need to see how many keycaps we have to manufacture minimum, because the problem with keyboards, so the Klingon keyboard is just great because I can ship this everywhere in the world, because there is no German Klingon, there's no British Klingon, there is no American Klingon, there's just Klingon. With a keyboard like this, Europe, Austria, Germany have different keyboard layouts. I think you guys have a different keyboard layouts from us, if I'm not mistaken.
I want to say so, but I can't think off the top of my head at the minute. I'm looking at mine, but yeah, I can't remember.
Where's your Y?
My Y is between the T and U.
Oh yeah, it's the same here. It's the same here. So this is with German keyboards. That is switched.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, so the Z is actually where the Y is.
Oh, okay.
The term for this is actually, you call that what we have here a QWERTY keyboard, and in German it's a quartz keyboard. And there's also, of course, you have the famous Ö and Ü and Ä in German.
Awesome. Speaking of accessories, before we move off the subject, CherryTree has a range of mouse pads and such, which people can buy at the minute. You teased last time some new ones coming soon. Can we hear any more teases about that yet?
Yes.
Or?
Oh yes. So because it's Star Trek 60, we made. There's another reason too why we made more mouse pads, because somebody decided when they saw how successful our mouse pads were that they're like, oh, we make mouse pads now too. So we decided, okay, then we just make 15 new ones.
Well,
So now what we do for Star Trek 60 is actually we don't have them on the website yet, because we're going back and forth if we launch them now or launch them at Star Trek Las Vegas. But we have the large desk mats that are featuring the 1701, the 1701D, the Defiant and the Voyager, and they are all. I can bring a couple.
As a quick note, the brand new mouse pads Martin is about to show off in his interview video are now available on the CherryTree website, while stocks last. Of course, this includes the Enterprise D, the Voyager one, and even the square mouse mats. They all look fantastic. Go check them out. They look fantastic. You should definitely get one. Oh, and soon they'll also be available on the cargo bay, so if you're in the UK or EU, check them out there. Nice.
Classic.
Defiant. Voyager.
Then
Nice.
Then we have this one.
That's very nice.
Okay. And for the people that like it,
Oh, those are really good.
it's basically the same ships as here. Then we have, because people really like this one, we have for the Defiant. So we're gonna have this for also Voyager and Voyager. And
Very nice.
and my favorite, it's still my favorite ship.
Can't go wrong.
I mean, this is like
That looks really nice, yeah.
Yeah, these are these and this we had last year at the convention.
Ooh.
And we didn't have them on our website because they sold out at the convention actually. So we bought way more, and we're gonna have this one on the website too, and that's the 1701. And this one here.
It's so hard to choose. Like, you think you typically only have like one mouse pad on a desk. I say that without having any mouse pads on my desk at the minute. I'm like, how do you choose between which blueprint one you want? You have to buy more and just switch them out. Mondays is Enterprise D, Tuesdays Voyager, and away you go.
So last year at the Star Trek convention, I had this guy come to the checkout, and he had the weirdest mix. So I'm not a gamer, yeah, and so I don't really. I now I get it, but back then I was like, nah, I'm not really getting this. Yeah. So there's this one guy coming, and this was this really, really tall and almost menacing looking dude. Yeah, and he comes with a Klingon mouse pad, and he had a couple of others, and he also had a lower decks one. Yeah. And I just asked him, and I'm like, dude, why are you buying so many mouse pads? And he's like, and again, this is this really, really hunk of a guy. Yeah. And he's like, well, it depends. If I feel all aggressive and shit, then I'm gonna put the Klingon mouse pad on. And if I feel cutesy and whatnot, I put the lower decks on. And I'm like, okay.
You can't disagree. That's great logic, really. And you've got a new mug there, I've just noticed. You're drinking from it.
Yes.
What's the story behind this?
That's a prototype.
Ooh, okay.
That's something we are thinking about making. Yeah, it's don't know if you remember this. So, story behind these is basically the same story as with our spaceport mugs, and we're gonna call this the spaceport mug 2.0. They were actually made from the same company.
Oh wow, okay.
Those were also Feldman Langer mugs. Yeah, and it's basically the same story. So when I saw them, I was like, I think we're gonna make these too, and this is one of the production samples we got. They still need to iron out a few things because, hold on. Because one of the things is they are actually very difficult to make. Do you see how wavy they are here? So they need to iron out a few flaws, but I hope that we get some of these soon as well. And I think they're super cool.
They look it, yeah. They look really nice finish on it as well.
Yeah, yeah.
Of course, the mugs have been a success for you guys as well. We now got multiple colors of those as well. Because last time it was just blue. Now we've got, is it orange, red, and black? Or have I got that wrong?
Yes.
Brilliant.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Orange, red, and black. Yes, exactly.
And you said
black
those are doing really well.
They do. They are really, really great item. The black one's actually not from Star Trek. The black ones were actually used in Babylon 5.
Martin, as we move towards the end of today's interview, we spoke about this a couple of months ago, but let's quickly recap it. CherryTree announced that their license of Paramount for Star Trek has been renewed. How did this sort of come about? You know, sort of tell us about it, I guess.
Well, so we're doing this since 2000. So the company was founded in 2016. We have our first license in 2017, and usually a license goes for 2 years. And what's basically going on is every time you renew, they try to up your minimum guarantee a little bit. So it's basically what you have to pay them up front that you can do things. And last year, because since we are doing this, there were 2 mergers, I think 2 or 3 mergers. It's now the 3rd one, I think.
Yeah.
And a lot of things changed during these mergers. And one of the things that changed this time is big licensing companies like Disney, now Paramount, Skydance, they have thresholds for what the minimum guarantee is. And apparently they raised it to 100,000 now for a 2-year period, which basically means I'm not disclosing our licensing fee, so basically our royalty rate, but to make it easier for people to make the math a little bit easier, let's say the royalty rate is 10%. If you have a $100,000 minimum guarantee, that means you need to sell a minimum of $1 million worth of merchandise in 2 years.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of small companies really have problems with this, especially when you sell products that cost like $5 a piece, $10 a piece, $20 a piece. That's really a problem. Yeah. When we started it, we had a minimum guarantee of 20,000 for 2 years, which was super easy, and it got slowly upped to 60,000, which was the last one. And when the last renewal happened, they basically told us, yeah, your new minimum guarantee is 100,000 now for 2 years. And I told them flat out, no. I said, no, we're not going to do this. I let my Disney license. I let my Disney license lapse 2 years ago. And I asked my Disney contact, so what would it cost me to get my Disney license back? And they basically told me 200,000, but I can pick and choose whatever I want from all 5 major studios they have under the Disney brand. Yeah.
Does that include things like Star Wars and Marvel, for example?
Everything. It basically means Marvel, Disney, LCARS, box, and whatever. Yeah. And he told me you can basically pick and choose what you want for 200,000. And I went back to Paramount and I told them, okay, I actually got so far that I forwarded them the email from Disney and told them, this is what I'm getting from Disney. You want from me $100,000 for 70% of one IP that's 60 years old. And they were like, I get your point. Let me think about this. So they came back with an offer that was very good. They told me, you get not a renewal, you get a contract amendment, which basically just states your contract is going to be extended for 1 year for the same terms. And during that time, we're going to figure out what we do. Yeah. So what we decided to do basically is, when we heard, okay, we went from, we have to go this year from 60,000 to 100,000. Mm-hmm. So we basically need to sell way more. Yeah, we have way more things that we need to sell. So we came up with the idea simply, we need to increase our products. We need to have way more products. We need to take a little bit money in our hands and develop, and come out with new stuff and simply make more cool stuff and just make it with the quantity now. And so far, we already started talking about the renewal for next year and for the next 2 years. And we're going to do the 100,000 for the next 2 years because, frankly, point one, I want to continue with this. And I'm pretty sure with all the products we have planned, shouldn't be that hard. It should be doable.
I think it's reassuring to hear that you're hoping and looking forward to continue it, particularly as, we discussed at the start of this year how due to Paramount's recent merger, we're seeing a lot of Star Trek licensees discontinue their sort of cooperation with Paramount, which is a shame to see, especially with certain companies that have gone. But it's really good to hear you guys are sticking around.
I think so too. But the biggest problem is, especially when it comes to licensing, when you read people react on on social media, when you read responses to when people post about this, the biggest problem with this is you have to see the business side of it a little bit. Yeah. If you deal, I give you an example. A couple of years ago, Tetris had 40th anniversary. And a friend of mine who runs Star Trek Wines, they had a Tetris wine, and I was like, oh my God, this would fit our brand actually perfectly. Yeah. So Tetris is a small company. It's a small IP. Yeah. And when I started negotiating with them, we didn't do a Tetris computer because they wanted too much minimum guarantee. What they wanted to have was 15,000 for 3 years. But the Tetris brand itself is too small for 15,000. Yeah, it's too small. This is like a brand. You can do a minimum guarantee of 5, 7,500, 7,500, 10,000 max, 15,000. I stopped negotiating there. Yeah. When you deal with somebody like Disney or with Paramount, you're dealing with a machine, with a gigantic machine. And what you have to keep in mind, the moment you make a new product, I'm just walking you real quick through the steps that it takes to get a product approved. So first of all, we have to make samples. You have prototypes, whatever. We have one main contact. Yeah, that's your business contact. Yeah, and that's basically the guy that's responsible for making sure that the product is viable for the brand, for the Star Trek brand, that it makes sense, that it's within your contract parameters. Yeah. For example, I cannot make a Defiant model.
As in the die-cast ones, for example.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. I cannot make a figurine. That's why all our figurines have a purpose. Our cats, our Borg Cube cats, they're lamps. Yeah. These seem like small workarounds. Yeah. But one thing is, we try to make things that people can actually use. Yeah. The majority of our things, all of our things are usable. They're not just I'm not diminishing a collectible. Yeah, I have a lot of them myself, but I'm just saying I like to make products that people can actually use. So anyway, you make a prototype. The first thing you do, you go to your guy, to your business guy, and you tell them, this is what you want to do. Thumbs up, thumbs down. Yeah, the guy looks at it real quick. If you have a good relationship, that product takes one email. Yeah, you send him, this is what I want to do. You're cool with it? And he tells you, yes, submit it in Tracker Plus. Tracker Plus is basically the online approval system from Paramount. And you basically take pictures, yeah, you upload it, you fill. Doing this online can take up to half an hour because you need to put the SKU in, you need to put everything in there. So you upload it and you send it via Tracker Plus to your business guy. The business guy then sends it to the product development team. The product development team looks at it, yeah, and says, okay, that's cool, do it, or do it with changes, whatever, yeah. So that's basically already the second step. The second step, the second team you work in. You first have the business team, then you have the product development team. Then there's another person involved, and this is a complete different team. That's the packaging team. Yeah. Since we sell only to a very small amount of resellers, like the cargo bay, for example, we don't need to have specialized packaging. That's another loophole. Yeah, that's why we can make like packagings like these for the thermal paste, because we sell them only on our website. The moment you go into retail, yeah, you need to adhere strictly to their packaging guidelines. That's another team. Okay, then you have your product. Yeah, then you have your product approved. You need to send the product to the sample warehouse. This is another team. We now have the business team, we have the product development team, we have the packaging team, we have the sample team. Yeah. Okay, you start selling. Now come the people that send you your forecast requests. They are in the business team, but they're mostly different people in the business team. Yeah. So you have to submit quarterly forecasts. Then after every quarter selling, you need to send royalty reports. This goes to another team. Now think about, for one little product that costs not even $20, through how many people this went.
It's a lot of emails.
You see my point here? So the moment you have a machinery like this, and every, let's say every licensee only has $20,000 minimum guarantee, how is this affordable?
That is true.
This is the thing. The next thing is, for a company, when they tell you we need more minimum guarantee, that means you need to sell more items.
Yeah.
This is a kick in the butt basically for you. This is like, okay, I need to make more product. I need to sell more product. And so for me, this was like last year it was too soon for us. This year I'm like, okay, it's challenge accepted. Let's do this.
Martin, thank you for taking the time to join us on Trek Central today. We've learned a lot about CherryTree's products and also the licensing as well, which I think we may dive into the future if more people would like to see that topic. They can comment down below, as I think it's something we're both passionate about talking about. And hopefully Star Trek fans love learning about that as well. But before we leave off, where can everyone find the current CherryTree products and also up to information on what you guys are up to for the big anniversary year?
So you can find all our cool things on mycherrytree.com. And if you're in the UK, you can find it on the cargo bay. And if you're from Austria or Germany, you can find it on Trade Post 47. So we have a lot of cool retailers in Europe too. And this year we have a few new products that are coming out. A couple new products. One is going to be the Star Trek themed AIOs. So basically the Star Trek water coolers for PCs, which are super cool items for people that want to customize their PC with something cracky. And if you do that, you can also use the only thermal paste that's approved by Star Trek, and that's O'Brien's special thermal compound. Also very important that you keep your PC cool.
Very true. Well, Martin, thank you very much for joining us here today. We'll be back with you very soon, hopefully, to talk about more exciting Star Trek products. And before we forget, I believe everyone can catch you at Star Trek Las Vegas this year.
Yes, absolutely, because it's also, our 10th anniversary, 60 years of Star Trek and 30 years of First Contact, and it's going to be a big celebration there.
Oh yeah, hopefully we'll talk to you before then and catch up the news of what you guys are doing at the show. But in the meantime, thank you very much, and we'll see you soon.
Thanks for having me.
A big thanks to CherryTree for sitting down with us. Remember, if you're going to Star Trek Las Vegas, you can find them there. Say hi from me. Now, if you want to get your hands on some CherryTree items, like the Klingon keyboard, Star Trek mousepads, or even the spaceport mug, you can find links below. If you're in the UK or EU, head over to the cargo bay, but if you're in the US, go straight to CherryTree's own website. Thanks for watching everyone, we'll see you very soon.